Hey everyone, welcome back again. Back on the 59, still working on these box sides. I'm just about finished on the passenger side. Been quite a challenge because it's a little bit bent up and things aren't quite fitting right. So I'll just take you over and show you what we've got done. So here it is from the bottom up. I've got everything is welded from the satellite or rocket line up. I've just got to weld the lower side there, and I'm about to lay it down on my sheet of plywood here so I can do that. But I'll show you what I did on the other side here. So it had, like most boxes, it had 3 stake pockets. The center one got cut out when I did the shorten and took that 14.5 inches out of the center there. So the way these are put in, there's a single tack weld on a tab on the end, and then there's 2 little tabs that were the spot welds. The original spot welds missed. There was only 1 on each side, so I welded them all the way along on both sides to make sure that they were going to be strong. Now, this thing was rusted out way more than I thought. I had to replace a piece here. I had to replace this center piece. This side was okay. So once I had this all welded together, the whole box side, I positioned this in here so that one edge of this stake rail was right over top of the weld seam in the box to make sure everything stayed out. And then I welded it here on the flange as it was before, where the inner fender bolts on. So I've got all the welding done on the inside. It all needs to be ground yet. Next thing I'm going to do is let it down, and I'm going to finish welding the lower part of the fender here. That's quite a bit thinner material than this stuff. This stuff I believe is around 14 or 16 gauge, and that is probably 19. So, okay, I'm going to continue on with welding here. Hey guys, we're back working on the 59 here. Can't believe it's been almost 10 days since I started this video, and I put the last video up. Crazy December here, the 5th of December. It's supposed to be 13 above Celsius today, which is just absolutely absurd. I think it's 11 tomorrow, and for the next day we got no snow or anything in the forecast till after Christmas. So looks like we're gonna have a brown Christmas. Maybe the grass will even start turning green. So anyhow, a little bit of slow progress. After 67 years of abuse and rough use, my right knee, he said it had enough and gave out on me. I got severe arthritis in it and no cartilage left, so I'm on the waiting list here in Saskatchewan for a new knee, which is anywhere from 3 to 18 months to wait for it. So it's going to be a tough 18 months here till everything's taken care of, but not looking for sympathy, just that's why things are slowing down. So I'll show you where I'm at, what I got done. We got still working on the right hand side of the bed. Way more work than I first thought. There was lots of patches and repairs to do, getting things straightened out. On the front, in front of and behind the rear, the wheel opening, there is a little doubler bracket that gets welded on like this, and that's where the steel rod goes from the fender up to the box rail to stop the sides of the bed from flapping. So I got this one in. I still have a little bit of straightening out to do on the back one here, and then this one will go in here. I had a hole here that I showed you before where the wraparound farmer bumper came up. It was bolted to the fender and it tore a big hole in it. So I've got that welded in. It still needs to be planished and straightened out. I have to straighten up this edge a bit get the proper curve into it. This corner was all tore apart. The spot welds between the back edge of the box and the bedside was split apart, and somebody had put a half-inch wide bubble weld across here. I had to clean that all off, straighten the lip out, weld it back together. And then once I got into that, then I found another huge rusty mess. It's just like peeling a rotten onion. It doesn't matter how many peels you take off, it just keeps getting worse the closer you get to the center. So this bed corner, like I say, there was a wire brush stuck in each one of them, and it held up all the dirt, and it's caused a whole whack of rust. There must have been a bunch of dirt stuck right down at the bottom here. This is rusted through. This is the 2 bolts where the hinge for the tailgate goes, and then there was a couple more bolts up here where the chain stop goes. This is part of the bed, the stake pocket. I had to drill all the spot welds out to get it out. This is the other part of the stake pocket. Came out of here. So with my brake setup, I can't make this all in one piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this piece, and then I'm going to build this piece, weld the 2 of them together, and then put the thing in as a unit. So first thing I have to do is cut this piece of rust out here, weld in a new piece of heavy, I think it's 14 gauge, just to replace that. And then I've already sprayed rust converter on this. I'm going to give it one more coat before I'm done. And then I can start building these pieces to get this corner built back up. I was going to start on shortening the other side, and I figured there's no point in it. I might as well get everything done on this one. And then once I bring that one over, I can just complete it. So I'll bring you back once I get some pieces made or ready to be made here. Okay, we have almost all of the pieces fabricated here. We have this piece that goes across or up and down. I just have it bolted in with the tailgate hinge bolts, the latch bolts at the top. It comes up. Once I take this apart, I'll show you what I did there. Then I have this filler piece in that comes down the side. Once I get this all welded in, then I'm going to build a small filler piece here, and then I can start welding it all up. What I found here is this, when this all rusted out, it allowed the back of the structure to roll back a bit and take the squareness out of the back of the truck here. And I think part of it was due to rocks flying up and hitting all of these areas up here. So I'll just put you in the tripod here, and I'll take the pieces out and show you what we have for structure. If I can get you close enough. Magnets. Okay, so that's the filler piece for there. I'm just going to, actually I'll leave that piece in. I've got this all marked for spot weld holes. I have to make sure everything's lined up really well before I start welding. Change. Okay, so now that I have the pieces out, so this is the vertical piece. What I did was I left it about 1/4 of an inch long, and then I clamped this to the edge of my I-beam, and I pounded this over. What it allows me is an overlap, like this. so when I weld it, I'll have a backer behind it, give me a stronger weld and an area to grind and smooth it out. So next thing I got to do is just make sure that all of my spot weld holes line up on a piece of steel. I'll get this drilled. I got a little tab to weld on the top of it. I'm going to clean this all out and put some weld through primer in, and we should be good to go. Okay guys, we've got everything with weld through primer on it on the undersides. I have all the holes drilled for the plug welds. Have this piece set in. Got a little tab up here that's tack welded in. Everything's fit. Time to start welding. Make this thing solid one more time. So here we are, it's a new day, back at it. I've got all the welding done on this one. Got the panel welded into the stake pocket, the little patch at the top, and it's I got the inside all ground. I've got to grind this part yet, but one of the other problems that I've run into here is, and I've been told this before, that the build quality on these 56 to 59 is pretty bad, probably some of the worst GM ever did. And what's happened is their spot welds that held the skin to the structure, all of them are broken all the way across. So this whole piece is loose, and if you see there, just by moving the fender up and down behind the tire, it separates everything there. So what I've done is I clamped this really tight, and I've drilled holes all the way through the outer piece and part way through the inner piece, which cleans up the steel so that I can get these all welded. So what I'm going to do now is clamp them all, do a plug weld on them, and then I'm pretty much done with welding on this box side. We got incredibly warm temperatures coming today. It's going to allow me to take this outside and do all my grinding outside and keep some of this mess out of the shop. So once I get this welded up, I'll bring you back. Okay, so we've got all of the plug welds done along the bottom here. Really stiffened up this portion of the box side. It doesn't have all the flex in it. It did when that was all broke loose. I've got my doubler put in here, the stiffener where the rod goes that holds the fender from bouncing. So this is ready to go outside now and get the final grind done on it. Try and keep some of the mess outside. And once that's all done, then I can start cutting apart the right-hand side, or sorry, the left-hand side, and get that one done, and then we'll have a shortened box. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, I'll just take you over here. A purchase I made from Vevor Canada, vevor.ca. There's Vevor in the States as well, vevor.com. I've bought quite a few tools and such from them, AC stuff, flaring tool for brakes and fuel lines, and I've been pretty happy with most of it. I did get a belt sander that's kind of dicey, chintzy. I haven't used it much yet, but I've got it there as a spare. So this is my latest purchase. I'll just get you in a tripod. This is for the 59. Once I get into the swap onto the 03 chassis, I know it's got one broken manifold on it. And looking at those, they don't flow real well and hard to fix and everything else. So I was on Vevor the other day and I couldn't believe this set of polished stainless steel 5.3, 4.8 and 6 liter headers showed up. They're really nice. The TIG welds on them are, as you can see, quite nice. There's a nice polish on everything. 3/8 thick flanges, which you never see on cheap stuff that comes in. Comes with the headers, collectors, with O2 bungs already in them, and they even have plugs. Comes with gaskets for between the engine and the header, between the header and the collector, and bolts and hardware for everything. And if you can believe it, $137 Canadian shipped to my door. That's about 80 bucks US. So if you're looking for a set of LS headers, even if you have to modify a little bit, an incredible deal. So I've got these. I'll put them away now. I won't need them until after we get all the metal work done on the cab and the box, and start mounting everything onto the frame. So from here, I'm going to get the right-hand box side outside on a couple of sawhorses once the sun finishes coming up. It's still pretty early. Well, not really. 8:30 in the morning. We don't have daylight yet because Saskatchewan isn't on daylight savings time. So anyhow, I'm not going to bore you without grinding. Probably going to be 2.5 to 3 hours of grinding to get this fender done, or this box side. You got to remember when you're grinding to take it easy, because you can put as much heat in grinding as you do welding, so you can cause a lot of warpage. So anyhow, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in and watching all this funny shit I do, and hopefully we can carry on. Next video we'll be cutting apart the other box side, and I won't bore you with the whole thing on putting it together. Hopefully we can find something else here for content while I'm working on that. It shouldn't take as long as this one, because my knee seems to be doing quite a bit better now. So anyhow, guys, take care. Thanks again.